Alright, back again. It's time for the scores and thoughts for Week 15. As you can see there in this ad here, the middle burger right there, the Big Mac, that's what I had for lunch today. Big Macs are tasty. If you have not tried one, you are under a rock, but I definitely suggest checking them out. You could find them in a McDonald's, obviously. So anyways, let's get to it. The first game, the Thursday Night Football game, the Chargers beat the 49ers 34-7. Vincent Jackson went off. He had a 3-touchdown game, I think, and just did a phenomenal job of showing the promise that he had as a Pro Bowler when he should have been there for the entire season. He wasn't, so therefore, then forthwith, the Chargers are where they are now. But still, the Chargers have a chance to make the postseason. Possibly they'll make it. I doubt they will, but they still have a chance, considering the Chiefs are only one game behind. Speaking of the Chiefs beat the Rams 27-13 on the road. I like I've said before, that NFC West is just terrible. I mean, you got the Rams, who have a rookie quarterback leading their team, which Sam Bradford has done a fair job, let's be honest. But still, you have a Rams team that's rebuilding still, with hardly any depth at receiver. What the heck is going on? Oh. With hardly any depth at receiver. You have the Seahawks, who have Pete Carroll as their head coach and are dealing with an aging quarterback and all sorts of stuff like that. You have a 49ers team which is struggling mightily, and you have a Cardinals team that has no quarterback. They have you have a low round draft choice, you have Derek Anderson, and you have an undrafted free agent as your quarterbacks. Come on, seriously. But good win for the Chiefs. Very good win for the Chiefs. They needed that to stay a game ahead of the Chargers, which they have, because the Chargers have the tiebreaker. Bills beat the Dolphins 17-14. This really wasn't much of a game to watch because it was the Bills versus the Dolphins. To be fair, though, I kind of wanted to see the Bills go winless, but now that they've won a couple games, I kind of do want to see them win a few more. Win the last two, maybe, so that they don't challenge the Panthers for the number one pick. Another team going for the number one pick, the Cincinnati Bengals. They beat the Browns 19-17. This really wasn't much of a game either. It was the Browns versus the Bengals. So, the score may have been close, but you can see by the fan rating it was not good. So, whatever. The Bengals, they won a game. For once, they snapped their 10-game losing streak. Can you believe they actually started 2-1 and lost 10 straight? I mean, that's very difficult to do. It really is. It's very difficult to do. Actually, it's not too difficult to do for Carolina because they had to lose. They lost 15 straight back in 2001, so yeah, whatever. Tennessee beats Houston 31-17 in the quote-unquote rematch between Andre Johnson and Cortland Finnegan. Unfortunately, Cortland Finnegan did not get his ass beat up. That is unfortunate, but nonetheless, the Titans get the win over the Texans, and the Texans are pretty much out of the playoffs now. I think they are out of the playoffs. They got players fighting other players. They got teammates fighting other teammates. I mean, in the game, I think I saw Brian Cushing actually push his own teammate and get penalized for it, which is pretty bad. So Kubiak's probably going to be done in Houston, but nonetheless, good win by the Titans. They are still alive, barely. But I don't think, in that division, I think it's, that AFC West or whatever it is? Or the AFC East? Or AFC South? Yeah, AFC South. In the end, it's going to be the Jaguars and Colts going at it for that division. That's what I think, anyways. Eagles beat the Giants 38-31. Okay. This is basically what sums the game up. The Giants were up by 21 points with about 7 or 8 minutes left. They cough up the 21-point lead, and on the final play of the game, they punt it to Deshaun Jackson, who, with blocking, runs it in for a touchdown. And Tom Coughlin yelled at his punter. Okay, other than that being a waste of energy for Tom, you screwed over your own team. I wanted to say something else, but I'm not going to. You screwed over your own team. You coughed up the 21-point lead. It wasn't your punter's fault. It wasn't your punter's fault for coughing up a 21-point lead. It was yours. You didn't run the clock out. You didn't have your defense keep the lead. You suck as a coach. What's the deal? Now your team's probably going to miss the playoffs too. So, whatever. Your team may actually miss the playoffs. I think they're number 6 seed right now if the playoffs were to start today. But there's still 2 weeks left, so whatever. Lions beat the Buccaneers 23-20 in overtime on the road. I'm surprised that Nick's team actually did something. I'm actually very shocked that Nick's team did something. Because the Lions are usually associated with futility. Yes, that futility. Meaning they had Ndamukong Suh kick an extra point for them. Enough said. Ravens beat the Saints 30-24 at home. This one was a fairly good game. I kind of expected the Saints to, being the Super Bowl champs that they are, to win this game, but they didn't. The Ravens did. So the Saints still are in the postseason, but they're not really. The Falcons are. I think the Saints are 9-5, so the Falcons have sewn up the division now. I think. I don't know. They're either 9-5 or 10-4. I think they're 10-4. I think the Saints are 10-4, so they technically still have a chance. They have to win out and hope that the Falcons lose their last 2 games, but I doubt that's gonna happen. I seriously doubt that's gonna happen. Panthers beat the Cardinals 19-12. Now, before you Panther fans start saying, "Yay, the Panthers won something," they beat an NFC West team. That is not something to be proud of at all. Do not think that beating an NFC West team is something to be proud of, because it isn't. Never was, never will be. The only time the NFC West had a respectable team was when the Cardinals went back-to-back playoff years last 2 years. This year, the Cardinals suck, the 49ers suck, the Rams suck, and the Seahawks suck. None of the teams in the NFC West are any good. In fact, what the NFL should do is rank the playoff teams based on record, not seeding based on division winners. That way, we wouldn't have to see an NFC West team get knocked out in the first round of the playoffs and taking up space. That way we could see teams that deserve the playoffs, like the Packers, the Giants, the teams that don't have to fight just to stay in the wild card spot when they shouldn't have to because they have better records than the sorry ass Rams or the Seahawks. Come on. Anybody else agree with me? I hope you do. It's my channel. Well, actually, I should say that, but I hope you agree with me because I just put some power into that. The Cowboys beat the Redskins 33-30 in an almost monumental collapse. I don't understand and never will why the Redskins benched Donovan McNabb. But Rex Grossman did okay, actually. He had 4 touchdowns. That's something. But he also had 2 picks, which I guess is also something. But the Cowboys had a big lead and then squandered it. I don't know how you can do that, but alright, last 6 games here. Okay, what the heck's going on? There we go. Okay, there we go. Colts beat the Jaguars 34-24. The highlight of the game definitely... What the heck? No, I don't want to do that. What are you doing? The highlight of the game definitely has to be the onside kick that failed. Because what happened was... Josh Scobie kicked it. It was a low kick. He made it was a roller of a kick. And all he ended up doing, sorry about the browser issues here. If you see the little blinking and stuff, I do apologize for that. And no, Josh, no remarks from you. I'll just delete them. 34-24. What happened was Josh Scobie just kicked the low kick to is a low kick, like he kicked it was a roller to one of the Colts players, and the Colts player ran it all the way back. That's something you don't see on an onside kick. You rarely see an onside kick go back for a touchdown. I mean, seriously. And he didn't even kick it 10 yards. He kicked it like 7 yards, and a Colts player picked it up and ran it all the way back. Falcons beat the Seahawks 34-18. The Falcons have clinched a playoff berth now. They're guaranteed to make the playoffs, which is good. Because if you want me to be honest, the Falcons are going to be beastly when they get to the postseason, especially if it goes home field advantage. Although if the playoffs have to go through Atlanta, you guys better be ready, because the Falcons are going to the Super Bowl if it goes through Atlanta. Jets beat the Steelers 22-17. Maybe the Jets are finally good now. They stopped their 2-game losing skid, which, in a quote from Charles Davis of NFL Network, a 2-game losing streak in New York is like a 8-game losing streak elsewhere. It's a long time to be losing. And everybody's like, oh, maybe Mark Sanchez should sit down. Maybe Mark Sanchez... No. Okay, Mark Sanchez is a good quarterback. He's just struggling through his sophomore year. Get it right. Get with the program, New York. Oakland beats Denver 39-23 in the Gus Johnson commentated game of the week. Yeah, this game... I kind of don't know what to say about this game, really, other than Tim Tebow started and did a fairly good job. Tim Tebow actually did an okay job. He didn't do great. Let that be said. He didn't do great, but he did pretty good for a rookie quarterback. He did pretty good. But the Raiders were just too much. Patriots beat the Packers 31-27 on Sunday Night Football. I expected this to be a 50-2 blowout, or 52-0 blowout in favor of the Patriots. But the Packers actually made a game out of this with Matt Flynn. The one thing I have to say about Matt Flynn is that on the last drive, Matt Flynn basically thought that the clock had 5 minutes left on it instead of 30 seconds. Because if you guys saw, 30 seconds left, he throws a slant pass over the middle and doesn't even bother hurrying everybody up to the line. So there's 20 seconds left. He hasn't snapped the ball yet. 10 seconds left. He still hasn't snapped the ball yet. 4 seconds left. He finally snaps the ball and gets sacked. Game's over. So, I wish I was making that up. I'm not. But that's what happened. I guess that's the inexperience of a quarterback there. Inexperience of a guy that hasn't started. And finally, Bears thrashed the Vikings 40-14 on the road in Minneapolis. There's only 2 things notable about this game. 1, Brett Favre got hurt again, and 2, Devin Hester set the record for kickoff and punt returns for touchdowns in a career, and he's just finishing up his 5th year. So, yeah, I was really excited to see Devin Hester get the record. I thought he was going to get the record on the opening kickoff of the second half, but he got tripped up and caught up inside the 10, and that pissed me off so much. But when he got the record, on the punt return, I was very happy. I wanted to see him do it because he's one of my favorite players in the NFL. I've got some favorite players. I don't support players so much as I support teams, but Devin Hester is without a doubt one of my favorite players. Possibly my most favorite player because he's so explosive. And here's the rule. Do not kick to Devin Hester. Don't kick to him. Never kick to him. And that's what Minnesota didn't do for half the game. They didn't kick to him. In fact, the fans were booing Kluey when he was punting it away from Hester. But yet, the one time he did punt it to Hester, Hester ran it back for touchdown. That tells you, don't ever kick it to him. I'm sorry, just don't do it. Never kick it to Devin Hester. Alright, so that is week 15. Let's take a look at the preview for week 16. I'm going to do this live, obviously. I'm not going to pause it. Actually, I may need to. I'll pause it and we'll come back. Alright, week 16 games here. Among the notable ones, the Jets and Bears would be a good one. That's a good game. The divisional clash between the Rams and 49ers is probably an okay game, considering it's a divisional game. And the 49ers still have a chance to win the division, oddly enough. Let's see who else is notable here. Raiders, Colts. That Raiders team just refuses to give up. I'm sorry, they just refuse to. The Monday Night Football game between the Saints and Falcons, And just because the Eagles are in it, the Eagles and Vikings, and of course Packers Giants. So that's it. That's the scores and thoughts for week 6 or for week 15 in the NFL season. I will see you all next week with more. See you.